Hi, I'm Shari with Organizational Learning and Talent Development, and coaching your employees is a key skill for supervisors. You have two goals. One is to redirect the behavior, and the other is to build a relationship of mutual trust. It's interactive, it's a conversation. That's why I'm at a picnic table, to remind us that there's another person there. So it's not something where we just come down from above. It's definitely nothing we can email. It does need to be face-to-face, either virtually via video or in person. So there are 5 steps to coaching your employees. I'm including in this model the SBI. SBI stands for Situation, Behavior, and Impact. It's my favorite feedback model. It comes from the Center for Creative Leadership, and I did a different video about that I'll link in the description. So step 1, you state the behavior backed by facts. So you share basically just the situation and the behavior. Situation is like setting the scene, letting them know when it happened, and behavior is what they did. Make it as behavior, action-oriented, something like a video camera could pick up as possible. So for example, this morning during team meeting, you interrupted Sarah 5 times. Done, that's step 1. If it was a pattern, you can mention more than one behavior. You can mention the pattern in this first step. So the last 3 times our team has had projects due, you've been late. That's it. Step 2 is you ask open-ended questions and you listen. So sounds easy, and we often skip this step because it would be so much easier if we could just say, hey, this is what's going on, and I want you to change it in this way, thanks. Yeah, that would be easier. It would be way less effective. So it's really important that we ask open-ended questions and we listen. So we say, so what's up? What's going on with you? And we give them a chance to speak, all right? So once they speak, they might share something that was something we fell down on. So they might say, well, yeah, of course I'm late. You know, I just recently got promoted to this position and I still have never been trained in the system. Oops, okay, that's on me. So we need to acknowledge any role that we played. We're also listening for the root cause. The root cause is the underlying reason for the behavior. So maybe they'll say, yeah, you know, I've been really exhausted because of my second job. Or maybe they'll say, yeah, that new person we just hired, you know, keeps interrupting me. So notice, sometimes it's going to be stuff that they say that's kind of on them to fix. Sometimes we might play a role in helping to fix it. Or they might tell you about personal problems going on in their lives. If that happens, you want to mention if your organization has an employee assistance program. And Henrico definitely has an EAP, so you're going to mention that here. So the reason the root cause is so important is if you don't know it, you might make an assumption about what's going on and solve the wrong problem. So maybe you'll think, yeah, you know what, they were recently promoted to this position. It involves lots of projects, so let me send them to a project management class. Okay, but here you've created this wonderful relationship of mutual respect. You've asked them what's going on. You're listening openly and supportively. And so they develop the courage to say, you know what, I'm glad we're talking. I've wanted to come to you, but I was nervous because, well, you just promoted me and I really appreciate the faith you have in me and I really want to do a good job. But I gotta tell you, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. You know, this role has not only these projects, but these other tasks, and I'm still doing some of the work from my previous position. Wow, okay, that's a very different solution than sending them to class. All right, so I said listen for root cause. That doesn't mean pry for root cause. If they don't really share anything big that's going on with them, that doesn't mean you say, so how's your marriage? You know, what's going on at home? Of course not. It's just you're creating enough of a trusting and supportive environment that hopefully they will share if something's going on with them. Okay, so why do we skip this step? Well, as you can tell, it does take time. We might get some excuses and we might be met with emotions, which can be sometimes hard to deal with. Or maybe I'll get the silent treatment. They'll just kind of look at you. By the way, if that's what they do, you ask more open-ended questions and you ask them to paraphrase the concern that you stated to them. So here's the thing. Yeah, it does take time. You might get excuses. You might have to deal with some emotions. You might get the silent treatment. And it's really important to do this step. Without it, you will not be nearly as effective. All right, so let's talk about excuses. What if they're not taking accountability, like in the first example? What if they just give you a whole bunch of excuses? Ta-da! That's where we have step 3. That's where we let them see that there's an issue. We're getting agreement that this is a concern. And that is where impact shows up. So impact is why it matters that this is going on. So some people like to put that right in the very beginning and say, you know, last 3 times that we've had projects due, you've been late and it's costing us money. I like waiting, because if you've got a conscientious person, they could say, when you say, so what's going on with you? They might say, look, I know it's been costing us money and this is what I've been dealing with. Great, then you've already got your agreement, okay? However, if they give you a bunch of excuses, you can tell them the impact. Look, this really is serious because it's costing us money and it needs to change. It needs to stop this behavior of missing deadlines, right? Or you can also talk about what consequences might happen if they continue. Like, I'm not going to be able to put you on projects like this moving forward. Or if they were going for promotion instead of just promoted, you could say, I'm not going to be able to support you when you go for promotion. You can also reiterate any policies, procedures, your expectations. If your organization has competencies that this behavior is not stepping up to, and Henrico has competencies, so you could mention that here. All right, now you get to solutions. So you're gonna say to them, so what can you do differently moving forward? I know that you as a supervisor know some stuff they could do differently. And you really want to involve them, because involvement equals ownership, which equals commitment. They're much more likely to follow through with their solutions if those solutions are theirs, if they came up with them. All right. Oh, and by the way, if they really don't know what to do differently, you're here to help them. Okay, so finally, you thank them and you follow up. Often we'll just say, okay, thanks, whew, glad that's over. It's important to set a time to follow up. So for example, let's meet next Friday and see how this is going. That's important because it adds to accountability. They know you'll be checking in with them. So yes, it is definitely an investment of time. More importantly, it's an investment in your people. And so the benefits of coaching far outweigh the challenges.